Philadelphia News, team of my heart.
You know that feeling when you're waiting all off season for some real Sixers news? For a move that makes you believe this team is actually closing the gap, and then, bam, what you get feels like the most pointless decision of the year? Yeah, you've been there before, and here we are again. Training camp is right around the corner, media day is practically tomorrow, and before the Sixers pack their bags for Dubai, you're sitting here wondering, how does this latest move even move the needle for a team that's supposed to be chasing a championship? If you've ever felt like the front office sometimes plays checkers when everyone else is playing chess, then you already know the pain. But here's the catch. You're about to find out why this signing might actually frustrate you more than most, and at the same time, what the team should have done instead. The frustration runs deep because you've seen this script before. A season with so much on the line, a fan base starving for real change, and yet, once again, you're staring at a move that feels cosmetic at best. You've waited months for Sixers news that would excite you, news that would scream contender energy, and instead you get something that almost feels like a placeholder. You deserve answers, and you're going to get them. But let's be real, you've got to ask yourself right now, why did they keep making moves that feel like they don't matter? And if they don't matter, what does that say about the bigger picture? Now think about this. When you look at the roster today, you already know the pieces are fragile. You've got Embiid, who needs the perfect supporting cast. You've got Maxey, who's ready to be unleashed, but needs teammates who amplify his game. You've got Paul George, who's no spring chicken anymore. Every single signing matters more than ever. So why does it feel like this one was made just to fill space? If you're scratching your head, you're not alone. The truth is, you're right to question whether this addition even has a chance to make the final roster, let alone help the Sixers win basketball games that count. That's the pain, isn't it? You're not just upset about one player, you're upset about the pattern, about the front office's habit of reaching for players who don't fit, who don't answer the real needs of this team. You need shooters who hit consistently. You need defenders who fight for every inch. You need guys willing to sacrifice, to connect the dots, to do the dirty work. And yet here we are again, staring at someone who doesn't check those boxes. You want progress, and instead, you get déjà vu. But here's where the solution kicks in. You don't just sit back and accept it. You watch with a sharper eye. You hold the decision makers accountable. You recognize which moves are smoke and which ones bring fire. And if you've been paying attention, you know this latest signing might already be burning out before it even begins. But don't worry, I'm going to walk you through why this is happening, why it matters, and what it means for the bigger picture. You're going to see what the Sixers really should have done, and by the end, you'll know exactly why this move is stirring up so much debate. So let me throw this back at you. If the Sixers are serious about chasing a title, why would they bring in a player who doesn't fit the mold of what this team desperately needs? You feel that knot in your stomach because you've asked this question too many times before. And here's the wild part. This isn't just about this season. It's about a front office that has to stop making these empty gestures. You want real Sixers news that shows ambition, not filler. You want trades that matter, not signings that fade before the season even tips off. Here's your challenge. As you listen, I want you to guess the name of the player I'm talking about. Drop it in the comments the exact moment you figure it out. Don't just sit back. Be part of this conversation, because trust me, you'll know it when the pieces click together. And right now, as training camp inches closer, the Sixers had the perfect chance to bring in someone who would push the guys under contract, someone who would make Nick Nurse's job harder in the best way possible. Instead, you've got this. A player who once carried hype, who once had the spotlight, but now who feels more like an afterthought than an answer. Doesn't that sting a little? Doesn't it feel like the Sixers wasted an opportunity here? Here's what's really going to get under your skin. Even if this player shows flashes in camp, the odds are already stacked against him. The team doesn't have the room, the role, or the patience for his style of game. And you know what that means. He's here to be a body, not a solution. And that's where the frustration builds, because you've seen players just like this come and go without ever making a dent. The big question for you is this: why do the front office keep repeating this cycle? You love this team. You've stood by them through heartbreak after heartbreak, and all you ask for is a move that makes you believe again. But instead, this one feels empty. And in a season where every single decision could be the difference between another early exit and a real shot at the finals, that emptiness hurts more than ever. So here's the promise. I'll walk you through it all, piece by piece. The mistakes, the reasoning, the ripple effects. You'll see exactly why this latest Sixers news is frustrating, but also how it connects to the bigger vision, or lack of one, that the front office is showing you right now. And by the time we get to the heart of it, you'll see why so many are calling this move one of the most pointless of the year. The suspense is real, and the frustration is too. But keep your ears locked in, because once you see the whole picture, you'll understand exactly why this is hitting such a nerve. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see what the Sixers need to do next if they want to stop making the same mistakes. You can feel it, can't you? The weight of a season that's supposed to be different, supposed to be bigger, supposed to finally deliver what you've been waiting your whole life for. And yet, instead of bold trades or Sixers news that scream championship urgency, the front office hands you a name that doesn't solve anything. If you're asking yourself why they keep doing this, you're not alone. It's the same question fans all across Philadelphia are muttering under their breath right now. The timing makes it worse. Media Day is around the corner, Dubai is waiting, and the world is going to be watching the Sixers represent the NBA overseas. This is the stage where you set the tone, where you send a message that this group means business. And instead of strengthening the roster with someone who raises the bar, you get another experiment, another body in camp who doesn't push the needle one bit. How are you supposed to believe this front office gets it when the evidence feels like this? Here's where the connection hits home. You're not just upset at the move itself, you're upset at the way it reflects the bigger picture. You're tired of players who come in with no chance to stick, tired of signings that don't challenge the guys already under contract. You want battles in camp, players hungry to steal minutes, guys forcing Nick Nurse to make tough choices. That's what good teams do. And instead, you're staring at someone who probably won't even sniff the rotation if he somehow survives camp. But think about this for a second. Why do teams make these kinds of signings? Is it laziness? Is it wishful thinking that somehow, against all odds, the guy flips the script and suddenly becomes useful? Or is it simply going through the motions, filling the roster spots because the rules say you can? Either way, you're right to feel like this is a wasted opportunity. The Sixers could have brought in someone with real upside, someone who fills the gaps this roster actually has, and instead, you get this. Now, let me challenge you. Do you honestly believe the Sixers are one player away from being a true contender? Or do you think it's deeper than that the DNA of this roster still needs work, still needs a reshaping before you can dream about a parade down Broad Street? Drop your take in the comments, because this is the kind of conversation that separates hopeful thinking from hard truth. And trust me, I want to know which side you're on. Here's where it gets spicy. The Sixers don't have the luxury of messing around this year. Embiid isn't getting any older. Tyrese Maxey is still rising, but he needs the right cast around him, not guys who clog the court with empty possessions. Paul George is here, but he's a win-now piece, not someone you wait around for. That means every single move matters more than ever, and every single spot on this roster could be the difference between a second-round exit and a legitimate shot at the finals. Doesn't that raise the stakes even higher? And yet, here's the irony. You've been told this player once had potential. That word again, potential. How many times have you heard it and been burned by it? You've seen players hyped up as the next big thing, only to watch them vanish as soon as the lights hit. That's the pain, isn't it? Because in Philly, you don't want potential. You want production. You want guys who fit the system, who buy in, who scrap, claw, and bleed Sixers basketball. And this latest move, it doesn't give you that. But let's pause for a second. Maybe you're wondering, okay, so what's the real harm here? It's just a training camp deal, right? And sure, on paper, that's all it is. But peel it back, and you realize it's symbolic of a front office that sometimes acts like these moves don't matter, when in fact, they do. Because the message you send in camp sets the tone for the whole season. You either show urgency, or you don't. And this move, it whispers when it should be shouting. So let me throw the mic to you again. If you think this signing was a mistake, comment the word urgency below. That way I know you're locked in, and I know you're one of the fans who sees exactly what's going on here.
Because the real Sixers fans, the ones who ride through every high and every low, they can smell these pointless moves from a mile away. And I want to see how many of you are really paying attention. But here's the twist. You're probably wondering who I'm talking about. You've been putting the clues together, feeling the frustration, guessing in your head. And now, it's time to put a name to it. The player the Sixers just brought in, the one who might go down as one of the most pointless signings of the year, is none other than Emoni Bates. Yeah, that Emoni Bates, the all-once hyped prospect, the supposed scorer, now a body in camp who probably won't even see the floor when it matters. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about this front office's mindset right now? And that's why you've got to stick with me, because this isn't just about Bates. This is about what the Sixers are telling you with moves like this and why it matters for the season ahead. So if you're a real fan, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell, because the truth is, this team is going to test your patience all year long, and you don't want